Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Disrupted Coronation by K.B. Sridevi. Note on the author. K.B. Sridevi is a reputed novelist and short story writer in Malayalam. Okay, she wrote her first ever short story at the age of 13, which described the death of a bird. She deals with themes that are locale specific and indigenous. Her work is characterized by its originality. She lives in Trishur. So here, novelist means, as you all know, a elongated work, a short story, a part of it. So what inspiration can you derive from Sridevi is at a very young age of 13, she wrote her literary piece. So even anybody can write it. So local specific means her themes were specific to her place, and indigenous. Indigenous means within a territory. If you consider Bengaluru as a territory, within Bengaluru you can call it as indigenous. If you say within India, even then also you can say indigenous. So you should establish the boundaries there. Okay, what you call the things that are outside? You call it as exotic. Okay, her work is characterized by its originality. She lives in Trishur. K.B. Sridevi is the recipient of prestigious awards for her outstanding works that include varieties of genre. Genre, it could be poetry, play, novel, short story. She received the Kunkumam Award for the short story Yajnam, which served as a strong critique of the Nambutri community in Kerala, denouncing their community specific caste trials called Smartha Vicharam. The Krishnastami Award for her work Krishnavataram, the State Award for Dialogues, and for the Best Storyline for the film, Nirmala and the Kerala Sahitya Academy Award in 2011. Her novels and short stories include Chanakallu, Muktatodu Mukam, Tiruzichil, Moonam Talamura, Dasharatham, Agnihotram, Bodhisattvar, Kutti Tirumani, Krishnavataram, Nirmala, Padumula, and Chirajivi. Any I think students with Malayalam background or who know Malayalam will be able to understand the names better. Then, note on the lesson. Throughout Indian history, many authors and performers have produced and many patrons have supported diverse tellings of Ramayana in numerous media. See, one thing we should understand is though Valmiki wrote Ramayana, there are many retellings or reinterpretations of Ramayana. Some have interpreted Ramayana from Ravana's perspective, some from Surpanaka's perspective, some from Lakshmana's perspective. So there are various retellings of Ramayana. Even this KB, this author also tries to do the same. Sri Devi also tries to do the same. Different tellings of the Ramayana are neither totally individual stories nor exclusive divergence from a real version by Valmiki, but are expressions of an extraordinarily rich set of resources that exist throughout history, both within India and wherever Indian culture took root. So here the author makes it clear just because there are various retellings of Ramayana, it doesn't mean the story itself is completely different. She just says the new retellings takes inspiration from the original Ramayana itself. Like the set of landscape conventions of classical Tamil poetry, the elements of Ramayana tradition can be seen as a source on which poets can draw to produce a potentially infinite series of varied and sometimes contradictory tellings. So she says, just like how Tamil poetry, like the set of landscape conventions of classical Tamil poetry. So just like how Tamil poetry is the source of some of the languages, even she says Ramayana tradition is the source for most of the retellings or literary pieces related to Ramayana. These various texts not only relate to prior texts directly to borrow or refute, but they relate to each other through this common code or common pool. So she says they are not separate texts, but they are texts that are driving inspiration or deriving inspiration from a common pool. What is that common pool? The instances in Ramayana is the common pool here. Even every author, if one may hazard a metaphor, dips into it and brings out a unique crystallization, a new text with a unique texture and a fresh content. So she even says, with every author, there is a new perspective, new dimension to the original Ramayana. Glossary, Padavandana, practice of paying respect at the feet of elders. Ashwamedha, an ancient mode of sacrifice. Sangha, Chakra, Kulisa, and Matsya, the signs of the conch, discus, and fish, which are symbolic of different deities. Krotalaya, a room in the palace into which one could retire in order to express displeasure and anger. Okay, so Ashwamedha means during those time, If the king wanted to extend the territory, the king or the queen, they used to have this Ashwamedha. So they used to send the territory's horse along with the soldiers. If anybody stopped the horse, then that king would have fought against that territory. If anybody didn't stop it, stop in the sense obstruction. It's not just there isn't any fight there. If anybody does not stop it, it means that territory belongs to this particular king. Comprehension questions. What view of Ram as the son do you get from the reading of the disrupted coronation? See here, you all know Ram was sent on 14 years exile into the forest. Okay, that is the original understanding of Ramayana. So here you will have a different version. How is Kaikeyi sketched in comparison to the other queens, Kausalya and Sumitra, in the prescribed retelling of the episode of Ramayana? The retelling sketches Kausalya and Mantara in a fairer light than in the original version of Ramayana. Critique. What is the dream sequence mentioned in the text that sets stage for the event of Ram being banished? Retelling as a literary strategy accommodates alternate perspectives. Interpret the text prescribed for study. If you were to as readers compare versions of the story, the original and the retelling, what differences do you note in characterization? Are retelling structured according to their immediate cultural context? Attempt a personal response. So here they are asking you to critique Ramayana. So here you have to compare your knowledge about the original Ramayana with that of KB Sridevi's interpretation. So the disrupted coronation. So Lord Ram was supposed to be coronated as the king, but he is not. There is a disruption. Kaikeyi, wife of Dasharath, was sitting amidst her numerous ornament boxes. See, you should visualize. Only when you visualize, you will have a greater understanding. Spread wide open on the courtyard of a palace in Ayodhya, the kingdom where the kings of the Surya Vamsa were born, brought up, and thrived. So you have to visualize Kaikeyi, who is the wife of Dasharatha, is in a room or in the courtyard of her palace where and all the ornaments are spread across. The other queens, including Kausalya Devi, usually entrusted their maids with the job of choosing the right jewels and decking them. However, Kaikeyi was one who insisted on deciding for herself what suited her best. So she was sitting amongst her jewelries in order to decide which is the best jewelry or which jewelry best suits her for the coronation. Especially on this auspicious occasion when Ram was to be crowned the king of Ayodhya. The diamond studs had to be necessarily accompanied by the diamond earrings and diamond studded hip chain. But she knew that Ram detested the diamond studded hip chain. She had worn that particular hip chain for young Shatrughna's birthday celebration. When the crowd had dispersed, Ram approached her and said, Mother, this hip chain does not suit you in the least. Why did you wear this one? So, in KB Sridevi's retelling of Ramayana, she tells that Ram did not like Kaikeyi wearing this diamond hip chain. Okay, and when did she wear it? She wore it during Shatrughna's birthday celebrations. You should be aware of all these factual details because in MCQs they will ask factual questions. She was surprised that Ram noticed how everyone was dressed and decked. Why he even spotted the grey in the hair of Mantara, her foster mother who used to come from Keka. Mantara on that occasion had whispered philosophically, what is there on this earth that Lord Ram cannot see? His vision is as wide as his wide, well spaced eyes. See, these are the things, details that you don't come across in original Ramayana. Why should Ram be bothered about somebody's diamond hip chain or the white hair of somebody? Okay, here she says she was even surprised that Ram noticed everybody. Kaikeyi went on opening and closing her jewel boxes. Today she definitely should wear ornaments to Ram's liking. Blue had always been Ram's favorite color. This is very, very important. Favorite color of Ram is blue. Why? Why she had asked once, don't you know, mother, blue is suggestive of depth, words of deep intensity indeed. So he felt that blue color reflected his character. Therefore, since it symbolizes depth and it is suggestive of depth, he liked blue color. The hustle had increased outside. Ayodhya was decking itself with the special decorative attires. The hurried activity of cleaning up the roads and marketplaces, the commotion of preparing decorations, the unending sound of the rolling chariot wheels. So here there is a description of the celebrations or the preparation for the celebrations for the coronations taking place. The chariots were running to collect the water from the for the coronation for from the seven seas. Nobody would have gone to seven seas to collect water. It could be from the seven different places. Joy was bubbling forth everywhere. Enthusiasm was on the rise in Kaikeyi's heart too. Ram was to be crowned tomorrow. Ram himself, accompanied by Sita, had come to her on foot to convey the news. She had especially watched Ram speaking of the coronation. He just said that he was obeying his father's orders. There was no great show of happiness or anxiety. Having said all that was to be conveyed, both of them had bowed before her. So here we get a description of Ram's character. He's not overjoyed. He's calm and composed, and he just conveys, informs to his mother that he is being crowned as the king today. Mother, please bless. Only after coming here did Ram and Sita go to Kausalya's palace. That had always been Ram's practice. Getting out for Padavandan in the mornings, he would first pay respect at her feet. Why so? Isn't it at your own mother's feet that you should pay respect first? She almost asked his question one day. He hardly allowed her to have finished the sentence, interrupting her midway. Ram asked a counter question. Mother, is it necessary to have these petty differences here as well? That itself was suggestive of Ram's greatness. So here, first what he used to do, he used to first visit Kaikeyi and then go to Kausalya's palace. So when his aunt questioned, why is that you don't go to your mother's first? Then he says, why do you need this difference now? Mother answered, that itself was suggestive of Ram's greatness, a feeling of kinship with each and all. Today, when there chanced to be more talk of coronation, Ram seemed sad on one count. This coronation is at a time when Bharata and Shatrugna are away. So, why is Ram disappointed even on the day of coronation? It is because Bharata and Shatrugna are away. What of that? Won't they be overjoyed to see their elder brother crowned when they return? She had consoled him. The general opinion is that Ram is more fond of Lakshmana, but I know that he has an equal love for Bharata as well. Ram had been heard retorting to those who eulogized him. You see, my strength rests on having procured such a just brother. The kingdom actually waits for Bharat. So here, some of them mocked at Ram, saying when they talked about his love towards his brother Lakshmana when compared to Bharata. So everybody were of the opinion that Ram likes Lakshmana the most, but Ram used to say that I both are equal for me. Any opinion of Ram has an air of calm about it. It carries weight as well. The Ashwamedha was held here at a time when there existed a slight tiff with the kingdom Kekeya. Ram was little child then. The royal relatives were invited, and one by one, according to the king's order. It came to be known that the king of Kekeya was not among the invitees. I did not respond. Who am I to preach propriety to Maharaja? Nothing shall be obstructed here if elder brother and father did not come from Kekeya. I stayed silent with guarded self respect. Then one day, without any provocation, the Maharaja asked, tomorrow a person is being sent to Kekeya for inviting him. Ram says that he shall not partake in any celebrations which sets apart one's near and dear ones. This is also important. So why Ram takes a decision that he will not take part in any, not take part in events that excludes the near and dear ones. Ram's philosophy is that the indiscretion in the battling rivalry with rivalry brings about all catastrophes. This is very much important. Indiscretion in battling rivalry with rivalry brings about catastrophes. Means what? If you keep on fighting, it will lead to end of both. It will not benefit anybody. Even the last time when Mantara came, she said, this Ayodhya is blessed since Ram was born here. I remember Lord Ram's words whenever I am worried. Only then do I find some relief. This is what Mantara says. Mantara seems to possess 100,000 tongues when she starts talking of Ram. She is overcome by a tremendous enthusiasm. She becomes immersed in it, often forgetting the circumstances. Ram's love, courage, righteousness, selflessness. Why? Where else can one find that beauty and charm? So Mantara really adores Ram like anything. At times, Mantara secretly looks at and worships Kausalya Devi, saying that was she not the mother who have birth to Lord Ram? So Kausalya happens to be the original mother of Ram, and she Mantara used to worship Kausalya Devi also, since she happened to give birth to that noble man. What are you all doing, Mantara? I once asked her jokingly. Then Mantara said, Great queen, look into Sriram's eyes. You will see in them the kindness required for the whole world. Have you observed his feet? They bear the signs of the sun, Chakra, Kulisa, and Matsya. Those feet display signs of the great devas, including Indra having prostrated at his feet, touching them with their foreheads. So again, she continues to adore Ram's physique. Since then, I too happen to look at those feet first. Then I feel some power turning my heart tender. I feel as if Ram has entered into my heart. I forget everything at that time. I forget this Ayodhya, even Kekia, where I was born and brought up. I forget even the Maharaja, the Lord of my heart. I even forget the Ram is my son. I remember only one aspect, the beautiful feet of Ram. The memory of those feet made the great queen infatuated again. She sat with closed eyes for some time. Then, when she opened her eyes, who was that at the door? The maid. No, it wasn't. Isn't it Mantara? She stood up and walked quickly to the door. Mantara, why do you stand there itself? Why is your face dim? Is it that you are tired by the journey? Mantara still remains silent. So when she adores, when this lady Kusala is adoring Ram's feet, the Mantara enters the house, and Mantara is sad. She questions, why is it? What is this, Mantara? Why do you seem so troubled at this moment when I feel most happy and enthusiastic? Why did something untoward occur on the way? Why did something untoward occur on the way? So this Kaushela is very much puzzled. Not on the way, the untoward incident is the kingdom itself. Kaikeyi was puzzled. Who was there in this country unacquainted with Mantara? Not only because she was the foster mother of Dashratha's favorite queen, something untoward to happen here to Mantara, who charmed everyone with her personality. Well, let me know. So Kaikeyi was puzzled. I thought of reaching here fast. When I reached the courtyard of small council chamber, on the courtyard sand, there were only the footprints of Dashratha and Sumitra. The guards were very watchful. Escaping their sight, I reached the other side. This is what I gathered. See, Mantara says, I'm disappointed because I feel something suspicious related to the coronation of Rama. Okay. Then she informs her what did she hear from others. Mantara cleared her throat and proceeded again to elaborate. The king had seen a disturbing dream. Exactly at the fourth hour past midnight, Sumitra was referring to his having found the portents of the dream. So Mantara says, King Dasharatha had a dream at 4 o'clock. That is 4 hour past midnight means 12 plus 4, it's 4 a.m. That he had a dream. See, usually our dreams materialize into reality. That's why she was worried about the dream. What is the dream? What are the consequences to be? Kaikai hastily interrupted her, approaching death for the ruler of Ayodhya. So this is what the dream was about. Approaching death for the ruler of Ayodhya means whoever becomes the ruler of Ayodhya will die. That is the dream that the king had. What? Kaikai steadied herself against the wall with an anguished cry. Sumitra has however found a way out. What is that? Crown Sri Ramchandra as the young king. How dare Sumitra say a thing like that? So then she only suggests, this Mantara only suggests that Sumitra has come up with a solution. What is the solution? Crown Sri Ramchandra as the young king. How dare Sumitra say a thing like that? Isn't Sumitra's love and devotion for Dasharatha well known? What did the Maharaja say? The king at first was extremely shocked. He said that he did not wish for a life without Ram. But wasn't the news of Ram's coronation proclaimed by Maharaja's orders? Great Queen, man holds his own life dear, whatever else he may preach. The Maharaja too is not beyond that. See here in the general Valmiki Ramayana, you get to know that this Kaikeyi was in favor of Bharata's coronation. Okay, and somehow they planned and ensured that Ram is exiled in the forest for 14 years. So in this perception, in this retelling of the short story, what happens? They have changed they have changed some of the scenarios. Here they say Lord Dasharatha had a dream that the king of this place will die. Who Whoever becomes the king will die. Therefore, they decide to crown Lord Sri Ram. Okay, then this Kaikai questions, do you think Dasharatha would agree for this? Then this Mantara says everybody is bothered about their own life. Okay, otherwise they will show express some amount of love, but when it comes to their own life and death question, they will be self-centered. So Mantara tries to poison the minds of Kaikai, saying that even King Dasharatha is in favor of crowning Lord Ram as the king. There is only one person in this entire world who transcends that. That is my Lord Ram. So Lord Ram is that person. However much he tried to keep the news of dream a secret, somehow or other, Ramchandra came to know of it. He entered the council chamber in great haste and said decidedly, I accept this catastrophe that has come upon Ayodhya. I shall become the Raja here solely to prolong my father's life. So he says, in order to ensure that my father does not die, I will sacrifice, I will become the king of this place. You have to compare the scenario with original Ramayana. In original Ramayana, Ram is cheated. Ram is forced to exile to the forest for 14 years. But here, Ram is offered the position. The Maharaja pleaded with his son a number of times to withdraw his resolution, but it turned out to be futile. Futile means of no use. Was there any need to teach the duty of a son to Sri Ram? But Ram did not breathe a word of this to me. Why? The Maharaja, who even describes how he hunts down the deer, did not say anything. How can it be said? Ramchandra has sworn that he shall not disclose the news of a dream to anyone. How can an occasion be created when people start teasing the great Emperor Dasharatha on account of a silly dream? So here Ram refuses to reveal the secret. Ram says, I will not reveal any information about the dream that my father had. Okay, because his main intention was if he reveals that information, everybody will start mocking at his father. Therefore, he decides not to inform. Both of them were silent for a while. Then, jumping up, Kaikai started shaking Mantara as if possessed. What should I do, Mantara? Why should we leave after giving up Ram to death? Oh God, what kind of a trial is this? If something untoward happens to the Maharaja, then. So here, this Kaikai is very much confused. What is she supposed to do? On the one hand, she will lose King Dasharatha if he continues, but on the other, she will lose Lord Rama also if he is crowned. I see a way out. Mantara was speaking slowly with a calm voice. What? Crown young Prince Bharata. See, Mantara is playing the role of Shakuni here. Initially, it's she who suggested Ram to be crowned, and then she says, in order to save Ram and King Dasharatha, crown Bharata as the king. Mantara, Kaikai screamed like a lunatic. Are you asking me to sacrifice my Bharata? Then she says, there is no alternative. Mantara seemed to be least perturbed. Perturbed means disturbed. She did not even care to glance at Kaikai's face, like one whose reasoning faculties had deserted her. Kaikai sat with her face towards the door. Mantara didn't even try to convince Kaikai. She just said bluntly, if you want to save Dasharatha and Rama, coronate Bharata. Mantara, utilizing her experience of a lifetime as well as her intellect, sympathized to herself. Alas, even his own mother fails to comprehend Bharata. She is a fool to believe even for a moment that Bharata would accept the kingdom belonging to his elder brother. However vast an empire it may be, young Bharata shall neither desire anything that he does not deserve nor accept it. I know that very well. I firmly believe it. Then the impending widowhood for the Maharani. The inevitable cannot be avoided. Who can captivate time? Let destiny take its course. So these are Mantara's justifications. She says, you can't prevent, you can't stop time. You can't prevent destiny. Okay, if widowhood is destined towards Maharani, nobody can object, nobody can stop it. So, and she also talks good about Bharata. She says, Bharata will not aim for anything that he does not deserve and he does not like. She narrowed her eyes, grimaced, and moved her shoulders. When Kaikai turned her face to look at her, Mantara spoke again. The duration of the events portended by the dream is 14 years. Ramchandra should not be anywhere in Ayodhya until the time lapses. Sri Ramchandra's life is what is important to us. See, See here in this retelling of Ramayana, they're finding a justification for Ram's exile. In the previous Valmiki Ramayana, Lord Ram is sympathized, pitied for being sent to the forest. But here, they find a justification for sending Ram to exile. What is that? What is the justification? They say, in order to, according to the dream that they had, anybody who becomes the king will die. In order to protect the life of Sri Ram, he has to be sent. He should not be coronated. Okay, and he should be sent on exile for 14 years. Sorry. Where shall Ram go then? Let him go to forest. To the forest. Have you lost your senses, Mantara? So these are the conversation that is happening between Kaikeyi and Mantara. Not at all. Lord Ramchandra must necessarily proceed to the forest. There was silence between them again for a little while. Then holding her face close, Mantara asked secretly, Maharani, do you recall the two boons that the Raja had given you a long time ago? See, Mantara again is trying to ensure that Kaikeyi implements Mantara's decision. She also reminds about the boons that King Dasharatha had given to Kaikeyi. Years ago, when the screw fastening Dasharatha's chariot wheel came off, you have saved him using your finger in a place of screw, suffering pain, the pleased Raja. So Mantara reminds Kaikeyi about her sacrifices, about Kaikeyi's sacrifices for the betterment of King Dasharatha. Long back, when King Dasharatha's chariot wheel was came off, instead of a screw she inserted her own finger so that the king Dasharatha does not fall. Considering her sacrifice, King Dasharatha gives her two vows. She says, I'm giving you two vows or gifts kind of thing, what a boons, whatever you want you can ask, he says. So she had not asked since then, till then. Now Mantara prompts Kaikeyi to ask for this. You should demand those two boons now. One, Sri Ramchandra should spend 14 years in forest. Two, Prince Bharata should be proclaimed king. Have you forgotten what your father declared on your wedding day? He said that he would give his daughter in marriage to Dasharatha only if he promises to make his grandson king. We had all heard the Maharaja consent to this condition. So here she also justifies with one more reason, saying that even Kaikeyi's father had got Kaikeyi married to King Dasharatha on the reason that the grandson born to Kaikeyi or the son born to Kaikeyi becomes the king. Mantara, do you think that the Maharaj will be ready to send Ram to the forest? Kaikeyi's face grew dark with sorrow and anxiety. Her face broke as if she was on the verge of tears. Maharani, we should act stubborn. It would be a breach of promise if the Raja refuses to grant the boon after offering it. The Maharaja shall never break his promise. So when KK is very much disappointed, how can I send my son-like figure to a forest for 14 years? Then this Mantara tries to justify, saying that you are all doing it for uh, the Ram's sake, and the Maharaja King Dasharatha can't give up on his promise. Kaikeyi did not utter a single word. Mantara perceived that her heart was bursting, that foster mother also knew that her thoughts were on Bharata, who has as much close knowledge regarding Kaikeyi's far sight as Mantara. So Mantara knew everything, every aspect of Kaikeyi. She somehow ensures that Bharata is crowned. The foster mother suppressed her own heart, refusing it to be stirred. She moved a bit closer to the queen and in a soft voice consoled her. Maharani, our aim is to save the righteous and the virtuous Sri Ramchandra. Haven't you yourself admitted that any sorrow can be borne if Ram is near? And that if Ram isn't near, then no one is of any avail. Means if Lord Ram himself is not there, does not exist, then it doesn't matter of anybody's presence. There was no response to that from Kaikeyi. She started at something far away. She stared at something far away. Mantara became restless. Time was receding faster and faster. She stood up and looked out from the terrace. Oh, it was almost time for the king's arrival here. Before that, Mantara persuaded Kaikeyi again. The dream may materialize any moment, Maharani. There is no time to be wasted on thoughts. Sri Ramchandra should leave Ayodhya tomorrow itself. Lie down pretending displeasure. Insist that you won't drink water until you are granted the boon. Lord Ramchandra's life is more important to us than anything else. These are the words through which Mantara poisons Kaikeyi's mind so that this Kaikeyi demands for those boons from King Dasharatha. Kaikeyi turned to to look at her, filling her two eyes with tears. She begged, "How can I survive for 14 years without Ram?" See, look at Kaikeyi's character also. She says, though Ram is not her biological son, she has that much of love towards him. She says, "How can I live without looking at Ram for 14 years? Suppose he deserts us and goes away forever. Suppose the dream comes true." Then Mantara questions, poses a counter question. What if he dies? What if he leaves us forever? Oh, no, no, no. That is why I say that Ramchandra should not be in Ayodhya for the next 14 years. The word given by the Maharaja to the ruler of KKA has to be kept as well. This is the only solution I see. So then Mantara says, in order to save Ram's life, we are doing all this. Mantara was as firm as a rock. Mantara, don't you realize that human race as a whole shall curse us for this? Then Kaikeyi is not at all convinced about Mantara's suggestion. For every attempt of Mantara, Kaikeyi has a objection. Don't you think if we do like this, the entire generation of human race will question and criticize us? I know, I do realize that we shall be blamed forever as long as there are the moon and the stars. But Lord Ramchandra's life is much more valuable to us than all those abuses and curses. So I shall not grieve, not in the least, even if I have to spend 100 lives in hell for that cause. So again, she tries to convince. Mantara for Kaikeyi's question, don't you think the entire human race in the future generation also will start criticizing us for sending Ram to the forest? Then Mantara justifies saying, yes, yes, let people criticize, let the moons and stars criticize us, but we are doing it to protect Ram's life, she says. Again, for some time, Mantara sat with pursed lips. Then she started speaking slowly in a firm voice. Truth is a luminous object, that which cannot be tarnished by time. At some time or the other, maybe after many centuries, some seeker of the truth may understand this. She says, she starts giving preaches about truth. She says, one day or the other, truth will become victorious, people will realize the truth. Listening to some sound, Mantara trembled a bit. Then she said in a rush, there the Maharaja has arrived. Sounds of people being asked to make way can be heard. Go quickly and do the needful. Somehow or other, secure those boons. Mantara forced Kaikeyi to her feet. Oblivious of the time or place, she pushed her forward. Kaikeyi, like a corpse, stumbled on the spread out jewel boxes and entered the Krotalaya. Krotalaya means a place where a room where one go and express their anger or frustration. So finally, Kaikeyi decides to ensure that Ram is exiled to forest and his coronation, Ram's coronation is disrupted and Bharata is being will be coronated. Okay, so this is the basic